halls of a Four Seasons loft. In Austin, I stalled, paused. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving and grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose. In paradise, we know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Unpopular Hour Women Only Wednesday show. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Man, what a great show we're going to have today. I'm excited about it. We're going to talk about, of course, what happened yesterday with the Thunder. Yes, indeed. Picking up and getting the number 2 pick. We want to thank our boy Nick Collison for representing the Thunder. Clearly, he was a good luck charm for us, partly, but we got the 12th pick. Didn't move from that, but we did get the number 2 overall pick, moving up from number 4, and of course Houston dropped to number 1. So we're going to talk about that draft. We're going to talk about what happened last night, the Celtics losing, and kind of just give a breakdown of that. Talk about the game tonight, who's coming up with that. Give a kind of little preview. Drop our odds from courtesy of my boy Drew Henthorn from HuskerDrewPicks.com. So anyway, we're excited about that, but let's break it down. And remember, I'm going to be doing more of a breakdown of the Thunder tomorrow on Thunder Thursdays, and we're going to break down what the Thunder have left. Now, if you didn't see the show last week, last Thursday, you can go to mcsportsnetwork.com. and you can check that out. mcsportsnetwork.com, and you can go back and you can look at the show and just kind of figure it out and see what you want to do, or see how I broke down that process. Because when you go to mcsportsnetwork.com, it's broken down to the After the Storm, which is the OKC Thunder breakdown, or after game analysis. So it's a Thunder analysis, let's call it that. Then you have the Unpopular Hour, which is what I normally do Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays. And then, of course, Wednesday is the Unpopular Hour Women Only Wednesdays, which are shows just for what we talk about with women. And we're got some, like I said, we've got some fantastic things coming up as far as people we're going to have up on the show on Wednesdays to kind of enhance more of the Women Only Wednesday. And I think I'm going to start going into women-owned businesses on Women Only Wednesday, kind of giving some promotion to there. But let's talk about right now the Thunder and what happened with their picks. When you go into it, here's what the Thunder have currently on the draft. I believe the draft was June 23rd, I believe is the date of the NBA draft. But when you go into it, here's what the Thunder are looking at. We get the number 2 pick, we get the number 12 pick, and we get the number 30th pick. And on top of that, we get, which I'm excited about, we get the number 34th pick. And, what's the difference between late first round and early first and second round? Not a whole lot. But at that sack, when you still look at it, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I think, do we go back? Because remember last year, what did we have last year? In 2021, we got Josh Giddey. I broke that down on my thing too. We had Josh Giddey. We had Terrence Mann in 2021 in the first round. Then we traded Alfonso Sagoon to Houston for 2 later on first-round picks. So that's what we did there. But we did get Giddy and Man, and then turn around, and then we got, of course, uh, then of course when you look after that, then of course we got Andre Wiggins and Robinson Earl in the second draft. So there's several ways that the Thunder can go about it. A lot of people are saying, why would the Thunder want to go ahead and draft some more young players? Well, you build through the draft, and Oklahoma City is not necessarily a hotbed for guys who want to come to the NBA or come to Oklahoma City. Now, I do believe, like I've said many times, had the Thunder kept Kevin Durant instead of Westbrook, had they picked Kevin Durant instead of Westbrook as their player, then, or as their franchise player, then that would have completely changed Oklahoma City's trajectory, because I think at that point people will want to come play for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can then say, hey, look, come see me, hey, come play with me, blah, blah, blah. But nobody wanted to play with Westbrook. And we're going to break down tomorrow the picks that the Thunder have had and how many of these guys are still around or even still in the league that the Thunder drafted over Prestige Tender. So we're going to break down and get way, way more into that. But my side of it is simple. Yes, we get these guys in. And the breakdown is, who do we take? What draft pick do we take? And to me, it's not even close. Here are your draft options. You got Jabari Smith, you got Banchero, you got Duran, and a lot of people like Chet Holmgren. They compared him to Kevin Durant. No, he's Porzingis. He's not Kevin Durant. And why I don't know how people came up with that. Kevin Durant was averaging damn near 30 at Texas. And it was the easiest 30 that you've ever watched somebody do. I mean, he's just a transcendent guy. Chet Holmgren, like I tell people, why would we have Chet Holmgren already in Poco? A 6'11" skinny white guy with handles. We have that already, who can't defend, who isn't strong enough to do it, and can't guard. We have that already. Why do we want to go get that? And he's a project. And on top of that, if you watch Jalen Duren when he gets against competition. Do you know he averages 9 points a game against competition? He averaged 9 points. He shot 21 basically percent from three and 40 whatever percent from the field. Now, can he block shots? Yes, it's his upside with blocking shots and with wingspan and all that great. Oh yeah, that's all fantastic. But how the hell is that going to help me win basketball games in the NBA? Because in the NBA, it's all about athleticism and strength. And Chet is more of a Porzingis than he is somebody who's NBA ready right now. Jabari Smith, however, on the other side of that, is 6'10", athletic with the body, who can defend, who can shoot the three just as good as Chet, but he can defend. And he's physical. Chet can't defend, and he's not physical. Banchero, shoot the shots, handle the ball. He's big, he's quick, he's athletic, and he can defend. Jalen Duren, he's just a big boy who's going to do you in the post. And we've talked about this. What do the Thunder need? We need bigs. And if, like I said, please go to mcsportsnetwork.com and go check out After the Storm, my latest show for After the Storm, and I break down exactly what the Thunder needs and what the Thunder's doing. So you can go back and you can look at that without any issues, and it will explain exactly what I'm talking about. And like I said, tomorrow on Thunder Thursday, I'm going to go into even more detail and more depth about the rest of the guys. So we know that we're going to keep SGA. We know we got Giddey. We know we have Dort. We know we have Trey Mann. And then you've got Wiggins, and you have Robinson Earl. So those six right there, you got. Then you got a couple bigs. If you want to go get some guard, go get something in between. You have Sarr and Diakite. So you got some bigs in, but they still need more work. Diakite is a little bit more readier than Sarr, but you know that you got something to do there. So why would you pass on a Banchero or Jabari? Now, this is my thing. In my world of greatness, or my world of what would happen, greatness for the Thunder, is that Orlando takes Chet. Then your choice is, do you take Jabari or do you take Banchero? Now, Jabari to me is a lot more NBA ready, kind of. But I think Banchero fits the Thunder better because he's more athletic. He moves well. He can catch the ball. He can move without the ball. And then remember, in the Thunder style of offense, we are a half court offense based on SGA. Now, do we take our teams to running? Yes, we do. We run with the ball when we can. But we're more of a defensive half court set offense, which is helpful more for us for playoffs than it is for regular season. But at the same time, you're going to get a lot of wins because you're slowing the other team down, but you've got to make shots. So the Thunder's issues were we couldn't shoot the ball from three, and we had no inside presence. So you got two guys who are big, who can shoot the three, who are athletic, so that fills one side of it. Now, as far as best players, clearly Jaden Ivey is above Jalen Duren as far as best players. I think Jalen Duren may be there at 12, which would be fantastic. Then you got Shaden Sharp, you've got Murray. Both of them. Well, Jaden Ivey he's an incredible shooter. So, but if you go get him, then what do you do then? Do you put Dort on the bench? Do you get rid of Dort? Do you get rid of Trey Mann, who you've kind of developed and who's a pretty good backup point guard to go along with Giddey? So Giddey, you don't wear Josh down when he's handling the ball, or you don't wear SGA down when SGA is in the game with him. So, because like I've said many times, you got to have SGA or Giddey on the floor at all times. You cannot be without either one of them without them on the floor. Now, this upcoming year, I think you get a Banchero, which will allow you, because he can handle the ball way more than Jabari did. Jabari is more of a catch and shoot. Banchero can bring the ball up the floor. He's a much more athletic Baisley, a more talented and skilled Baisley is what he is. So, and a better shooter. So that's what he is. So he can give you a little more help there, and even Jaden Ivey can bring the ball up. But if you don't take an Ivey and he's gone, which I think he'll be gone pretty early, I don't think he'll be there at 12. So, but anyway, so we can get some shooters, and we can because we have, like I said, the 12th, the 30th, and the 34th pick. So we can do something with those picks as far as addressing the shooter need or possibly the big man need. But Chet Holmgren, to me, people have been texting me about that. Why the hell would you want him? What in the world are you watching? These people are all enamored with the guy. He can't defend. And if you watch the NBA in the playoffs, you'll watch most of the guys who come from Gonzaga who are like him. They can't defend, but they play great in their system in college against weak competition. But when they get against good competition, they can't defend these guys. This is what you're going to see. You saw it last year against Baylor. Baylor killed those dudes, and those same guys who went to the NBA, well, they're on the bench, can't play. Why? They can't defend. You can fall in love with them all you want to. They cannot defend. And then you're going to get mad when they get here. Why can't he guard him better? No. You wanted him. You liked him because he was at Gonzaga. And they have a great program in college. But you're the guys that want him. So don't run your mouth about when you find out they can't defend. Don't say a word. Zzz. Those guys can't defend because they're out there, and that's not their fault that they're out there and whatever and where they're at. And who you can't help but who you play. When Tom Brady won all those games in New England, they were guaranteed 5 wins in the East because the East was terrible. Terrible. Can't help who you play. Did that aid New England getting all those home field advantages, getting you up in that cold, getting into the Super Bowl? Of course it did. Nobody holds that against Tom, but then when Tom did play competition, they won. So you couldn't really say anything about that. On the flip side of this, Gonzaga does not. And now you have Timmy. He can't defend either. He does all that little stuff here against those little squeak teams, comes to college, now average drops down against competition. Like Chet, average drops against competition. He cannot defend the people. All that little stuff he's doing, he's skinny. In the NBA, he's going against 6'8", 6'9" guys who are athletic, who can jump, or 6 or 10, who are athletic, who can jump, got quick hands, can handle. He ain't facing those little dudes out there. He ain't got the little guy from UCLA and whatever, and he's running. But he's also a lot like Poku. and I'm going to give my breakdown about him tomorrow. Poku is great in the open court. Fantastic in the open court. But in a half court set, which is what the Thunder do, he's not that great. It doesn't fit his skill set. Now, we jumped ahead of the draft to keep him from going to Dallas because we know Mark Cuban loves European-style players. And he searches for them left and right, and when he can't find one he can play, he dumps them right away. He doesn't try to keep holding on to him. He's like, can't play. The next guy up. And then what did he do? He found Luka finally. And Clybur's good, too. He's decent, but he can't defend. And we're going to watch him this week against Golden State tonight. So, but anyway, that's where the Thunder's at. We have the number 2 pick, we have the number 12 pick, we have the number 30th pick, and we have the 34th pick. So we have 4 picks in the top 34. Now, a lot of people say the Thunder should trade up. For what? You have the choice. You can get Jabari or Banchero. You're guaranteed one or the other. Why would you trade up? You're guaranteed one or the other. You're set. You've got one of your missing pieces that you need because remember, you have to appease SGA. He's your best player. You got to appease him. So you got to go get somebody who can be on the court and play with him. And, of course, he's familiar with Auburn because he went to Kentucky, so he would know all about that. So he knows about the competition in the SEC. So you can appease him. But you got to appease him. If you go get Chet, I can promise you, I wish I'd have posted this picture. Friend of mine, I'm going to throw you under the bus, Mike. I told you, Micah Henthorn, I told him I was going to throw him under the bus. He sends me a picture. Oh, Chet and Poku. David Robinson and Tim Duncan. The next David Robinson and Tim Duncan. I couldn't I almost had a wreck laughing. How are you going to compare Chet and Poku to 2 NBA Hall of Famers? One can barely play now. Tim Duncan was dominating as soon as he got on the damn floor. David Robinson was dominating as soon as he got in the league. Poku can't play. Can't dominate. He would dominate who? G League? He's a G League player. He's a G League All-Star. He's an NBA sub, decent sub. Because I can tell you, the Thunder are going to keep Baisley and keep Poku. I wouldn't, but I'm not the GM. They'd be gone. Baisley, you finally got off Terrence Ferguson, which you realized couldn't play quite early. But yet you're keeping Baisley. Because you don't want to be wrong on another first-round pick. Well, sorry, you are. He got to go, too. He can't play. He can't fit in the system that we're trying to do. So, anyway, but I'm going to go over all this tomorrow. Sorry, I just ranted and raved for, God dang near, what was that, 20 minutes on that? Well, that gives me a chance to take a break and thank my guys at YNB. Family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that make things happen. I want to thank these guys for, remember, you can go online and pre-qualify at www.ynbok.com. That's, you can pre-qualify for any loan at www.ynbok.com. And I want to thank those guys, Randy and Carolyn, for their support for us going out and doing remotes at minority and black-owned businesses. So I want to thank those guys. It was fantastic for that. And so now we got to get a couple more sponsors. I need to find me a sponsor for Women Only Wednesday that we can go to Women Only businesses every Wednesday. We go to a different women-owned business. And like I said, thanks to SRB, we'll be adding another person where when I go to your company and to your business and we're in there doing a remote, you can sit down with me and we can go over the stuff. And then you can also comment and you can talk about your business and what you do. So with that being said, let's take a little break and then we're going to come back and then we're going to talk about the second half of the show, which is the NBA playoffs and the PGA Championship. So thank you again for watching the Unpopular Women Only Wednesday. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. We'll be right back. want to thank everybody for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour, Women Only Wednesday. Pretty excited about the show thus far. I want to take this time to thank my sponsors. Um, of course, that's Collaborative Logic. If you have any IT needs or anything to be done, these guys can be your peeps. These guys will come on. These guys will help you do anything as far as your IT needs. SRB, if you need anything, engineering, surveying, um, these are your guys for that, and they are fantastic, and I really highly suggest them, or recommend them, I should say. Also, Oak Grove I can't even talk. Oak Grove Trucking, and any kind of hauling needs. I saw when my boy Jose was out and about doing that today. Um, or saw him out hauling, so he was getting some work done off in the truck, which I was like, hey, look at my boy, man. My boy Jose getting some work done, doing some hauling. So he's fantastic. So if you have anything that you need to do from that, he's your guy. And, please go ahead and get them. And, of course, my guys, Max and Greg Nafee at NAFCO. So love those guys. Those are my peeps. I appreciate everybody sponsoring the show. And once again, this is Women Only Wednesday, which we're going to try to really do some stuff with it and boost the viewership and stuff on the Women Only Wednesday. So that being said, let's go to the scores last night. Clearly, the Celtics beat the Heat. If you did not know, 107 to 118. The Celtics were really, really hurting without Marcus and Horford. I think at one point they only had 2 points in the third quarter through with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, something stupid. Jason Tatum was just horrendous with the basketball. He's not a facilitator. He needs somebody else to get him the ball so he can handle and take care of his business and do what he got to do. Jimmy Butler was just ridiculous. Jimmy Butler was Jimmy Butler. I mean, stealing the ball, scoring at will, shooting 59%. Shooting 59% from the field. He was just magnificent. But he's just doing what Jimmy Butler does. It's what Jimmy Butler does. It's like we talked about it yesterday, how Jimmy is one of these guys who, during the season, he's pretty good during the season. But when it comes to the playoffs, he is just unbelievable. He really is. He just seems to just go to a different level as far as his play. And it's really showing again, and he's leading Miami on this crazy, crazy journey. And they're going to be tough to beat. And then when we go and we look at the bracket, you can see right here that Miami leads 1-0. Of course, tonight is the Dallas Mavericks against the Golden State Warriors. And GSW is at home, and that's going to be good. And everybody's talking about Luka being, one of the top 5 players. I forget the crazy dude, whatever his name is. I can hardly even listen to him sometimes. Mr. Analytics himself. And he just comes and he tries to do all these breakdowns and everything he does. He throws out these numbers to validate his argument, which his argument is good, and I understand that. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get what you're saying, bro. But at the same time, Luka is not going to be one of the top 5 players of all time. Who are you going to kick out? I mean, who are you going to kick out to put Luka in your top 5? Who are you kicking out? Kareem, Magic, Michael, LeBron. You threw LeBron in there. Who are you kicking out to put him in there? KD. You kicking KD out for him? Taking Kobe out for him? It ain't happening. Some of these people in today's generation, and some of these guys who are just now getting a piece so they can get a little, act like they know something. I'm over these guys because they say a bunch of nonsense. And you know why they say stuff? So they can get clicks, views, likes. That's why I say the stupid stuff that they say. I'm just going, you guys are crazy. And people who are playing, just like Pat Bev the other day being on, going off on Chris Paul, calling him a cone. Dude, say what you want to about Chris Paul. Is his skill diminished? There's no question. But he was 9 times offensive all defensive team in the NBA. That's not a guy who can't play. There's not a guy who can't defend. So he ain't a cone. You just don't like him in whatever because of the beef that y'all have. But one thing, if you're going to be a professional and you're going to come on the air and you're going to talk, then what do? You be objective no matter what your feelings are about somebody. Like I was talking about my feelings about a couple guys. It has nothing to do with how I feel about them. I'm just giving the honest analysis of where they are and how I think they are. But I don't discount them because I don't like them personally. That has zero to do with whether I think they can play or they can't play. Zero to do with that. I'm going to give you your props when you are good. And then I'm going to break it down when you're bad. I'm not going to kiss your butt. I'm not going to go, oh, well, no. If you suck, you sucked. If you were terrible, you were terrible. If you were great, you were great. Regardless of how I feel about you personally, I'm never going to put my personal feelings in front. Just like when we break down the Thunder. I tell you exactly how I feel about the Thunder. I'm a huge Laker fan. And I said when we first started doing the shows, is that I'm a huge Laker fan. I've been a huge Laker fan since I was 11. Not going to change that. It's Lakers 1, Thunder 1A. And I'm a Thunder fan in every game they play except when they play the Lakers. It is what it is. I'm not going to back down from that. I'm not going to change from that. Now, however, because of this one particular former player who is now a Laker, I don't wear any of my Laker stuff because of this guy. So, but I don't go break down the Lakers and talk about how bad he played, even though he did, and we had a good game. I said something. Like he averaged 19 points and 8 assists and 9 assists and 8 rebounds or whatever, which is what he always should have averaged is 8.5 rebounds. He never should have had a triple-double. If he was playing on a team that can play, he's not going to average a triple-double. Because guess what? He has to play defense. Oklahoma City lost Kevin Durant. Then what did they do? They had to have something, and they just started letting Steven Adams block out so Russ could get those rebounds, just like we talked about. He needed 30-something rebounds the last 2 games. I think it was needed, 32? He got 36. You're a point guard. You cannot get 36 rebounds in 2 games unless they're giving them to you. That's why, people go, but like they said, at the end of the day, nobody's going to remember that. At the end of the day, it's going to be on the stat sheet. Russell had this. At the end of the day. But at the end of the day, I'm calling that shit out because that's what I do. I call you, if you play bad, I call it out. If you play great, I call it out. I'm going to always be fair and honest with you about my analysis, always. And when we look at tonight, I like Luka. I like his game. But this is my thing. I think that it's about matchups. Sports is. It's always about what team you're going to play, how do you go against each other, or whatever. And I believe the Chiefs, when they got beat by Tom Brady and them on the flip, when the Chiefs, they didn't get the ball back and Tom won. Now, one person said that. The Chiefs said, hey, we want to change the rules. Oh, no, the rules are good. Then when it flip-flops and then the Chiefs do that to the Bills, oh, yeah, let's change the rules. Oh, well, whoa. When that happened to Patrick Mahomes, you weren't upset about it. It happens to Josh Allen, you're upset about it. That game, the Chiefs and New England was a great game. Remember Tom Brady threw the interception? Somebody was offsides, 5-5 offsides, which the next year, we were reminded of 5-5 being offsides by Travis Kelce. Remember that? 5-5, not offside. Because Tom Brady threw a pick, then none of this would have been irrelevant. But look who they played. Would the Chiefs have beat the Rams? Yes. Would the Chiefs have played and beat the Rams again this year? Yes. But the Bengals got a break. They got on it. And like I said, part of the thing with Eric Bieniemy, I believe deep down inside the Chiefs were pissed because your first down, goal to go inside the 5-yard line, and you don't have a play to get you in the end zone against Cincinnati's defense. So it's about matchups. And I believe that Phoenix would have been a much better Phoenix. The Suns would have matched up and had a chance to beat Golden State before I think Dallas would have, because Dallas basically has Luka, and they have some guys who can do some stuff. But the problem is you need Steph Curry to play like crap. You need Steph Curry to play like crap. You need Klay Thompson to play like crap. You need Jordan Poole to score, but you need those two guys to play bad. Because if all three of those guys are going Dallas, you don't have a chance. You don't have enough firepower. You just don't. So it ought to be exciting to watch that and see what happens with that. I'm pumped up to see what happens. So that being said, let's look at my boy Drew Henthorn and his picks for tonight. My boy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. Of course, he's taking the Mavericks +5 because they're the Golden State is favored by 5, and then he's taking over 214. Now, last night we both agreed that the Celtics would not score. What was it, over 2? The Celtics and the Heat wouldn't score over 203 or 204, and they just blew that away. And so Vegas was right doing the over with that. So he was good yesterday. He was 1 for 1 on that. 1-1. He took the Heat and the points, and then he did the under, which I completely agreed with. I did not think both teams were going to score that many points. I was like, what is going on here? So the over 214, he's taking the Mavs to go to stay, which I think that's about right. I think both teams will come out and score. Of course, he's got his Braves once again at +120. He's got the Dodgers 300, and then he's got the the Dodgers minus 300, and then the Cubs minus 155. So that's going to be cool to watch that. And then so I'm excited to see what's happening here. And then, this is, like I said, my favorite time in sports starts in March, because then really towards the end of February, because there's the NBA All-Star game, and then after that, the NBA season gets serious. So you have the NBA All-Star game, that gets serious. Then you have, because the NBA, then dog games count. Then right after that, you have the draft for the NFL. Then the playoffs start in the NBA. Then you have the lottery for the NBA. Then you have the NBA Finals, and then you have baseball, basically by itself. Which I'm not ashamed to say I'm not that big of a baseball fan. I like baseball. I can go to a game and watch it, but to watch it on TV, man, that's like some people, like, I can watch golf on TV. Some people cannot watch golf on TV. I can watch golf on TV very easily, but some people can't. It's like pulling nails. So anyway, this is my favorite time of year when it comes to this, when it's this time, because it's all about the good sport. Everything counts. The NBA counts. Football is settling around. The schedule for football comes out, so you know who's going to play who this coming fall. And then you've got the NBA playoffs. So you've got all this stuff going in the NBA draft, NFL draft. All these things are going on at the same time. So definitely my favorite time of year. And what's more important too, or what's important, just as important, I'm excited because guess what is tomorrow? The PGA Championship being played at Southern Hills Country Club in Tulsa. And if you've never had a chance to go to Southern Hills, oh my God, what a beautiful, beautiful place. The course is magnificent, beautifully laid out, and it's just great. And of course, tomorrow morning I'm going to be there early because we're going to watch a little bit of the Tiger, Rory, and Jordan pairings. I mean, you look at these pairings. Yeah, Tiger, Jordan, and Rory. Then at the 114 tee off, you got DJ, JT, and Patrick Cantley. And then the group right after that, you've got John Ron, Scotty Scheffler, and Corin Morikawa. I mean, wow. How can it get any better than that? Now, I'm going to be there early. I think my boys coming back 5:30 to pick me up. So I'll be there early to watch the Tiger, Rory, and Jordan pairing, to watch that go off and watch that happen. And then right after that, I'm going to probably, like I said, I like sitting, and, I've talked about this to a lot of people. I like the 17th green to where it sits, because if you're standing right there, you get to watch these guys come in at 17 and try to, depending on where their pin placement at 17, there's this one little place they can put it. It's kind of like this little, it's like a little ridge, a little mini hill. And if you miss that putt, and it's a nasty little curver, if you miss it, you're 3 to 5 feet away. You're screwed. I mean, you got to come back there for a par. So that is just a fantastic viewing. I want to watch that. Then of course the dogleg right coming from 18 over, and then they showed us, when we were there for the PGA senior, they showed us where it was going to be. And I'm like, oh my God, how are they going to cut that? Then I've got this one for, I'm going to go over the top. Dude, if the PGA professionals can't go over the top, how are you going to go over the top? If they've got to cut it, you got to cut it. They got to cut the corner, you got to cut the corner. I mean, I know you're happy about your game, but it ain't that. Then, of course, you got Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, and Patrick Cantlay teeing off at 115. So I may, that'll give me just enough time, I think, to watch Tiger and them tee off. Then, of course, Tiger tees off Friday afternoon at 1:36. On Friday, I'll be watching that. And then Rahm, Scheffler, and Morikawa at 8:11 a.m., not p.m., on Friday. And then, of course, DJ, JT, and Cantlay are 7:49 a.m. on Friday. So that's going to be some fantastic golf. So if you haven't had a chance to go by and do that, it's fantastic. It's a beautiful place, and I can't wait to go watch these guys play. And plus, I just really want to see Southern Hills. I mean, I got a chance to go there. I played it once. It was brutal, but I'm a lot better now than when I played it. I think I shot 115 or something stupid on that course, but it's when I first started playing before I got my custom clubs and got custom fit, and that really knocked about 10 strokes off my game. And then now it's just keeping my big old head down and been able to stroke it. So, but anyway, what a great course. I hope everybody gets a chance. If you haven't get a chance to at least watch it, but I know a lot of people from Oklahoma City are going up, kind of like a lot of Tulsa people come down for Thunder games. So it's kind of the same thing, flip-flopped, of course, golf. We've had a couple PGAs at Oak Tree National in the beginning, but now we're fighting against Southern Hills, and of course they've got the pedigree of already having those tournaments there, so that allows them to get more tournaments to go there simply because the players like it. It's politics, and it is what it is. But if I've got the choice between holding a PGA golf event every 5, 15, 10, 15 years, or having an NBA team I can go see, 41 times a year, I'm going to take the NBA team every single time. So that's just me. So I think Oklahoma City is lucky when it comes to that. But that being said, I want to thank my guys at Y&B, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. And remember, if you want to pre-qualify for a loan, either that be a car, refinance of your home, or whatever, you can go to www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. So, like I said, the Thunder, we're going to kind of rehab that again. The Thunder got lucky. We have the number two. We have the number 2 pick overall. Thank you, Nick Collison. The number 12 pick overall. The number 30th pick overall. And then you go into the second round for the number 34th pick overall. And we kind of went over who the options are, so we'll go back over that again for those who didn't get a chance to see it, who may have joined the show alert. This is kind of my breakdown of the 3 tiers of the players. For I think that the Thunder should look for, if Orlando takes Chet Holmgren, which I think they probably will. I wouldn't, but they probably will because there's this thing. Oh, he's the next Kevin Durant. No, he's Porzingis. He's not Kevin Durant. That's shameful for you even to say that. I would take Jabari or Banchero. So if they take Chet, we'll have either one to go. Banchero, I think, was probably better for the Thunder fit because he can handle the ball. He can move without. He's a better Baisley. He's an upgrade to Baisley is what Banchero does. He can shoot it. He's more athletic. He can block shots. He can defend. He can do way more things than Baisley can do. So he would be an upgrade for that. And I think he's like 1 or 2 inches taller. but Jabari is a guy that just can stand out there. He can knock down the three. He can spread the floor. Banchero can too. Banchero can too. But, Jabari can't really handle the ball. He's more of you get in the ball and let him finish, or he can play in the post with his back to the basket. Clearly, Jalen Duren is a guy that plays with his back to the basket. And mainly he would be there he's an upgrade from Sarr and Diakite. That's who he is. And he's a much more athletic and more polished guy than either one of those. So that would be the thing to him. But the Thunder have got to look at what the Thunder. And then, of course, you got Jaden Ivey, who was the fourth best guy on third best guy on the list for me, but fourth best for the Thunder as far as options. So, but like I said, we have the number 2 pick. I would pick one of those two guys, either Banchero or Jabari. Either one of those. That would go with the Thunder because, like I was trying to explain to people, or what I was saying earlier, the Thunder are all about what can we do to get better. Now, the rest of the picks, can you change with somebody to move up? To move up what? I'm a number 2. I'm getting what I want either way. I need one of these two guys. So why would I trade any of my draft capital for that? If I can get them now, I can trade some of that to get a first-round pick next year or whatever. Fine. I'm cool with that because, like I said, we do have some pieces, but because you could probably get a nice value at 34. So if you trade the 12th and 34th for an earlier pick for somebody for next year, whatever, great. 12th and 30th, great, whatever. But to me, we did really well in the draft last year, getting Giddey, Mann, Wiggins, and Robinson Earl. So why would you not go back this draft, have some guys, some pieces that could fit? Then all of a sudden you're young. You remember you've already paid SGA. The only person who's coming up next, you've already paid Dort. The only person coming up next you got to pay is Josh. So then you'd have to pay SGA again, and then you'd have to come back and maybe pay these guys, and you'd have a good look on whether you want to give them that huge max extension. Because you know what you're getting in SGA, you know what you're getting in Josh. You already paid Dort. So Dort is not a max guy. You ain't got to worry about paying him max dollars of anything. You ain't got to worry about paying Trey Mann max dollars. We ain't got max dollars guy. The only guy we got are max dollars are Josh and SGA. Those are your max guys. And then we'll find out one of these two guys that we get the chance to draft, if that'll be your third max guy that you add, and then you'll have a really good feel at that point because SGA will be getting a little bit older. He'll be at that point, what will SGA be, running around 30? So he might have one more good contract left in him at that point. We shall see how he develops and keeps getting better. So anyway, that's kind of my breakdown on what I think the Thunder should do. Should the Thunder draft? Yes, we're perfect. We got two options. You can take Jabari or you can take Banchero. To me, if we take Chet, that is the most idiotic, and I'm going to break down tomorrow all the picks the Thunder have taken. How many of them in the league that you've taken? Not in the second round. I'm talking about just first-round picks. How many of them even still playing? How many of them you even remember? How many of them you even know? So it's important that you understand how important this draft is for the Thunder rebuilding to put us back in the echelon. And I believe you look at Miami, they developed through the draft. You look at Golden State, they developed through the draft. You got your older guys, you get the Jordan Poole comes in. You've got some guys coming. You look at Miami, they got two non-drafted free agents playing all the time. And Vincent and Cyrus. So they've got two guys playing. You develop through the draft. It might take them 2 years to be what you want them to be, but then you got a couple veterans in there already, and then you're rolling. So why wouldn't you go get another guy in the draft to add to what you have as far as youth? Then you've got Jabari or Banchero in his first year. You've got Trey in his second year. Robinson Earl in his second year. Wiggins in his second year. Josh in his second year. Dort in his fourth year. Oh my God. SGA. When did we get SGA? We got SGA in. We got SGA in 20. No, excuse me. We got SGA. I believe it was in 18 or 19. We got SGA. So because remember that was a trade, he got drafted by the Clippers, and the Clippers wanted Chris Paul, and so or they wanted Paul George. And we got Paul George, I think, what was that, in 20? or 19 is when Josh was there. So, I mean, when SGA was there. So we gave SGA his extension this year, which kicks in next year. So we're set. Think about that youth right there. Because remember, the over and under the Thunder was 17 games, and we ended up winning 24. And let's face it, had those guys not got hurt, we would have won way more than that. I mean, let's face it, had we not lost Josh and had we not lost SGA at the end of the year, we would have won more games. But it turned out being really well. We got the number 2 overall pick, which we want to take. And then the rest of them, I think you should keep. You keep drafting. You get some guys in there, and you just keep adding your pieces. And you just stay young. The money is cheaper, and you can build on the future. Because if you hit a couple of home runs in that 12, 30, and 34, man, Thunder's off and running. And then we've got some viable people for the future. So I'm excited about what I see from the Thunder. I'm excited about what we can do. And I'm just pumped up about it. I'm excited. So that being said, once again, I want to thank my sponsors at Collaborative Logic. Once again, if you need anything done as far as any IT solutions, those are your guys that you go to. Talk to my buddy Russell over there, SRB, and Mark Long if you need anything in engineering, surveying, and planning. Of course, Jose Fierro at Oak Grove Trucking. It was funny watching him in his truck doing his thing this morning. That was funny. And then, of course, my boys Max and Greg Neffy. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for watching the Unpopular Hour Women Only Wednesday. Remember, we've got some great things coming up as far as remotes. We're going to, like I said, we're going to find a women only sponsor. We've got one to sponsor our minority businesses, which, of course, is YNB. Family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. Pre-qualify online for any loans that you might need in car, house, at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. So those are some of the things, and we want to add one for Women Only Wednesday. And we've talked, ran at Pink Tie Night, Pink Tie Gala, ran into a lady that I think hopefully we can get her to be our sponsor for our Women Only Wednesday event, so that we can go to different women only owned businesses on Wednesdays to help promote them. And like I said, we'll be adding microphones and things like that. So I'm excited to do that. So once again, I want to thank you for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour Women Only Wednesday. You guys be safe out there. And if you're out to go and playing golf, remember, hit them straight. Peace out.